Hello all sentient beings and welcome to Transmissions Alt Mode, where we talk about all news, comics, and media related to the... On this episode of Transmissions Alt Mode, we review Transformers Back to the Future Issue 4. The Transformers Heavy Metal mobile game starts rolling out, and the new Transformers live-action movie officially has its title. Today is Friday, July 2nd, 2021, and this is episode 240 of Transmissions Alt Mode.
Welcome to Transmissions Alt Mode, the podcast that's going back to conventions. I'm your host, Charles, aka Big C, and I'm joined by the excellent Transmissions team. Jeremy, aka Yakko.
Great Scott.
Fantastic fan artist, Apollo.
Hi, what's up, everyone?
And Daryl, the Cybertronian Beast.
Marty, why do they want you to talk about Beast Wars?
Let's talk Transformers.
Because Beast Wars is part of Transformers, Daryl.
Some might see the best part.
It's a 25th anniversary.
Yes.
Not my Transformers.
Shame.
All right, we're not gonna have a Transformers feud.
Yeah.
So, another civil war that within the universe of Transformers, but
Yep.
Anyway,
It's your co-hosts, Marty. It's your co-hosts.
Oh no,
They're assholes.
as I was saying, we started the show by thanking our Donatrons, those lovely people who give us money on Patreon and PayPal. Thank you guys so much for continuing to support the show. We really appreciate it. If you'd like to become a Donatron, just go to transmissionspodcast.com/support. And this week we had our Toy Hacks giveaway. So we gave away two $10 gift codes for the month of June. And congratulations to Third Sergio and Duggernaut, two of our longtime Donatrons. And that's another perk. You're automatically entered into those contests every month if you're a Donatron. And next week, we've got the next episode of our live play RPG podcast, Empire of Rust. And this is episode 53, Spongin' the Third. Good things come in threes. And this will be out Monday, July 5th. So that's a holiday in the U.S. for, July 4th is the real holiday, but most people will have Monday off, the 5th off. So why don't you spend that day listening to some Empire of Rust? Catch up on Empire of Rust this Monday, July 5th. All right, so let's talk about some comics news. So we've got some new covers coming for upcoming issues. The first is the Transformers, or My Little Pony Transformers Magic of Cybertron crossover, and issue 4 is coming soon. And we've got covers. We've got the regular cover by Tony Fleeks and the retailer incentive cover by Adam Bryce Thomas. So the regular cover is it's both of these covers feature Megatron, and I guess Sombra is the evil pony. The cover A just has Megatron's been taken over by Sombra, and she's controlling him, and so it shows her, standing on his head. And also we've got some ponies who've also been hypnotized, so that's they're looking happy but also scary. And then the retailer incentive cover is also I guess Megatron with is that a battle mask or is that a different character? I'm not sure who that is, but Sombra is there too.
Looks like Megatron.
But yeah. So this crossover has been fun. We've been reviewing the issues. So we'll have to check that out when that eventually comes out. I think that's in the end, towards the end of July 21st when it's supposed to be out. So look forward to that. Next up, we've got some interior line art from Anna Malkova that is from issue 31 of the main Transformers comic, which came out last week, I believe. Yeah. Yes. So this issue is already out, so you should have access to it if you haven't bought it already. But if you want to see some art, just some of the raw line art that Anna Malkova has done. You can see it here, and it features Ultra Magnus and Optimus Prime having a conversation there. And yeah, it's nice to see the detail that Anna Malkova puts into the artwork before it's colored. So it's just cool inside art tidbits if you're curious about the process. And the last big news is solicitations for upcoming Transformers comics in September of 2021. So the solicitations are always 3 months out. So we've got listings for everything that's coming soon. You won't talk about like what the synopses are, any spoilers, but the upcoming comics, mostly it's no surprises. There's Transformers 35, Beast Wars number 8, King Grimlock number 2, Shattered Glass number 2. So we know all these series are coming. They've already been announced. Then we've got the My Little Pony Transformers, Magic of Cybertron trade paperback. So this is collecting the issues from the crossover that's currently running on stands right now. And then one comic that was kind of out of left field is the Transformers 2021 Halloween special. And the title of the story is I Have No Mouth and I Must Starscream. So probably going to be a Starscream focused story. But yeah, just another random Transformers holiday special. So last year in 2020, we had a Transformers Valentine's Day special, and now we're getting a Halloween special in 2021, which is weird, interesting, and awesome. So looking forward to that.
Do we think that it's actually going to be shipped in time for Halloween?
Yeah, well,
I mean, it's listed for September, so maybe.
Yeah, I mean they're giving themselves a month to a month leeway. So even if they slip the date, if as long as it shows up before October 31st, they should be good. But
I noticed that Winston Chan is artist on Beast Wars number 8 as well. I don't know how long his run is on there, but
yeah, that's very cool. We mentioned that earlier that he's going to be taking over on Beast Wars from I guess issue 7 on.
He started with 7.
Yeah. So that's cool, very cool. So maybe we can have Winston on the show and talk about his experience on getting interior work on a Transformers comic, since I think he's like one of the newest artists we've had.
Mm-hmm.
Congratulations, Winston, again. All right, well, that's all the comics news, so let's move on to our review.
All right, and this week we are doing Transformers Back to the Future number 4. This is the last issue of this crossover series. It is written by Kanan Scott. Art is by Juan Samu. Colors by Candace Hahn. Letters by Neil Yukitake. Editors David Mariette and Chase Moratz. And there are 3 covers for this. Cover A, which has the flux capacitors kind of in the center of the image with Gigawatt in the middle of the flux capacitor. And then Autobots are on the left side of it. Doc, Marty, and Einstein are on the right, and then the Clock Tower Decepticon is at the top. And this is by Juan Samu and Candace Hahn. Cover B shows Gigawatt in blueprints, and this is by Chris Panda. And the retailer incentive shows that inside the Ark, Marty is rocking out for the Autobots and Doc. And this is by Dan Schoening and Luis Antonio Delgado. So, Apollo, let's start with you. Which one of these is your favorite?
I really like cover A the best. I think it's the most interesting cover, and I think that has a lot of different things going on in it, and I like how expressive all the characters look.
Cool. Daryl, how about you?
Yeah, I think I'm going to probably side with Apollo on this one. Cover A is really great and dynamic, and I love it how everything's kind of broken up by the flux capacitor, and then you've got Gigawatt in the middle of that there, and then it's just the colors are really, really great too.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, cover A for me.
And Charles?
Cover A is pretty great, but I am a sucker for the classic G1 look, and I got to go with the Retailer Incentive by Dan Schoening and Luis Antonio Delgado. That classic shot of our Autobots with Gigawatt and Marty and Doc there. And Skills, can't forget Skills.
Yeah.
Random skateboard Autobot that we created for this crossover.
And they're all in front of Teletran 1.
Yep. Yeah, it's just a classic shot there.
I think I'm going to choose cover B. I couldn't get that cover when I was at the store, but I really love the blueprint design. But really, all the covers were really good this month, so can't go wrong with any of them.
Mm-hmm. They were all really great.
All right, on to the summary. It's 2015, and the Autobots have just saved humanity from the Decepticons with the help of Marty McFly and Doc Brown, until the Hill Valley Clock Tower transforms into a massive Decepticon named Watchtower. Marty and Doc rush to Gigawatt so Doc can fix his flux capacitor as the Autobots are being eliminated one by one. Doc fixes the time circuits, but before Doc and Marty can actually get inside, they're targeted by Watchtower. Gigawatt quickly transforms and takes the brunt of the blast to help save the humans. Injured, he's still able to convert and try to get up to 88 miles per hour so they can go back in time. However, he's too damaged, he's not able to get up to speed. Rodimus sees this and orders Skills to go help. He converts to his hoverboard form and Doc hops on. They're able to push Gigawatt and increase the speed, and it's just in time as Rodimus is then taken out by Watchtower. Marty and Gigawatt arrive in the alternate 1984, and they see Rumble driving the original DeLorean time machine with Biff Tannen driving a dump truck full of Energon cubes. Gigawatt converts and rams the other DeLorean, stopping that horrible future from happening, but Rumble blasts him for his efforts. He then uses his pile drivers to attack Marty, but Marty is saved by Biff. Biff has Doc's gun, but unfortunately it only has power enough for one shot. Marty pushes Biff out of the way before Rumble could blast him, and then the Decepticon uses his pile drivers to break through the abandoned mine below them and into the Ark. He starts calling for Teletran 1 to wake up the other Decepticons when he's surprised by several fully functional Autobots, including Optimus Prime. Rumble almost escapes by playing on Optimus's desire to try peaceful solutions first, but as he begins to climb out of the hole to get to his Energon stash, Marty yells out that he can have all the Energon he wants as Biff dumps all of it on top of him. As Optimus and the other Autobots make their way out of the cave, Marty is consoling Gigawatt as the bot dies. However, Optimus says this isn't the way things will end, and he sends Marty to return the original time machine to Doc so the timeline can return to the way it should be. He goes back into 2015. He's surprised to see Doc with the time machine already when that time machine converts, and Marty is surprised to see Gigawatt alive and well. In this 2015, the Autobots have been secretly helping keep the Decepticons at bay with Biff's help as their mechanic. They also help rebuild Doc's workshop, and Bumblebee is going to help him get an Energon converter added so he can time travel as much as he wants. Later, Marty and Gigawatt head back to 1985, where his parents have been waiting for him. They wanted to give him the pickup truck he'd been eyeing. And as Skills and Gigawatt look on, they're sure that everything is going to turn out just fine. But they all miss a familiar purple logo on the front of the truck. So that's the end of the show, and I'm hoping that Hasbro eventually realizes how using convert instead of transform is really dumb. I'm trying to save it as much as possible. But this was a fun crossover. I really enjoyed it. As Charles mentioned, there are plot holes galore, but it was a lot of fun in my opinion. The art was fantastic. Just it took on that animated look. It wasn't perfect for the cartoon animation, but it took the comic book versions of the Back to the Future characters and just animated enough to me, I think. Although I think the coloring in this issue was a little different. Some of the pages reminded me, like when the Autobots were first revealed, it reminded me of some of the old Marvel UK books, just a little bit in terms of the way the colors were. But I really liked them. And it was fun all around. I don't really have too much to complain about in this. I'm sure Charles will pick out all the different plot holes in time travel, but I don't really care. It's Back to the Future. I come to accept that. So Charles, let's start with you. What were your thoughts on the book?
I agree with you. I really enjoyed this comic. I was about to ask you, like, did Hasbro Legal help you write that review? I was wondering why you were saying convert so much.
I just did the search and replace. Every time I said transform it, I had to convert, replace it.
Well, yeah, I mean, I more evidence that we should all use transform and not convert, but probably Hasbro won't listen. But anyway, this was fun. I really enjoyed this crossover. I wish it had come out in a more timely fashion so we could, they spread these books out pretty far. It took us 8 months to get a 4-issue crossover. But it was fun. I really liked the battles. I mean, you feel the desperation in the opening battle here against the Clock Tower Decepticon, and you see Bumblebee and Rodimus Prime get killed, and it's implied that Doc and Skills are getting killed as well. So that makes things all dire. And of course, when you fix time, everything is fixed and everyone is alive again. So no problems there. This is very much I think it does a good job molding the Back to the Future and Transformers universes and making it a kind of a coherent whole here. Plot holes, I mean, I'll just say, okay, the Autobots, since the Autobots were woken up, they shouldn't have revived the Decepticons, right? There shouldn't be any threat of the Decepticons, right? Because if the Autobots were all awake, they didn't.
Yeah,
no?
I mean, I think they're on a whole nother timeline.
Yeah.
Once Gigawatt rams into the other DeLorean.
Yeah.
That stops what Rumble was going to do.
Right. So what I mean is, like, they talk about at the end, well, since we're awake now, we in 1985, we're still there to protect the world from the threat of the Decepticons, but there shouldn't even be a threat of the Decepticons because they could have just kept all the Decepticons unawakened since they woke up first. Like, exactly what the Decepticons did to them in the bad timeline.
Life finds a way, Charles.
But I mean, and also I also do like, I mean, it's another, like, just how Marty's truck became a Decepticon. That was also, that's not explained at all, but I do like that because I hope that means that they're planning a sequel crossover series. So even though they don't really explain how that happened, and it's just, but it's kind of like the original Back to the Future movie where they give you this little teaser at the end and say to be continued, and not really intending to continue it. And they had, they did it as a throwaway, but then the studio was like, hey, your movie made money, so where's your sequel? And they were like, oh, I guess we got to write a sequel now. So the art was awesome. Art and colors were great. The Transformers look really nice, and all the human characters look really good too. I mean, they're cartoony enough, so they're not really likenesses of the actors, but they do really match the expressiveness of the original characters. So it's a little weird reading this book, having affection for Back to the Future series, and in 1985 they went to the future of 2015, and now seeing this in the comic where the far off future of 2015 is 6 years ago, so that still feels a little weird. But yeah, that's just me feeling old. But this was definitely if you're a fan of Back to the Future and Transformers, this is a satisfying comic.
I do wish that they were better about marking what time period you're in, because it did get a little confusing for a second there. All right, Apollo, what were your thoughts on the book?
I really enjoyed it. I really like all these crossovers with Transformers, with these other franchises. I think it's just it gives a good opportunity to tell different stories. There was some stuff at the time travel that I was not sure on either, but whether if it was like one true timeline or whatnot, or multiple timelines, but it was, I really liked it. I really liked how it ended on a cliffhanger, with, Marty's car being a Decepticon as well. So, the art was fantastic too. I liked it. So,
and Daryl, what were your thoughts, and how bad do you want a clock tower transformer?
I loved that thing. That thing was awesome. I look at the scene when, it's stomping around, and the scene, like the where he steps on Rodimus, you can see that his feet are made of bricks, and I can't get out of my head that that thing would be so heavy, like just incredibly heavy. I enjoyed the series. I had to, kind of remind myself as to what the hell was going on, like from issue 1 and on, because it's been so long. Yeah, I did really like the series. The art's fantastic, although I do want to give one critique, and it's a critique I've given before. I don't know who would have done it. I'm assuming the colorist would have done it. The use of the Autobot and Decepticon stamps for insignias, it stands out to me every single time it's used, because it's always brighter. The coloring never is in the same kind of shade as the rest of the art. Sometimes it's off. It doesn't. It's not centered.
The angle is off.
Yeah, it's just it. It's just
perfect.
It looks weird, and it just kind of stands out to me every single time it's used. And I get it. Insignias are tough to draw, but these artists are very talented, and they're drawing, incredibly difficult scenes, and, they're doing a really great job at it. I have faith that they could probably do it if they just put their mind to it. So the Signia stamps are really easy because they're already made and they're there and you can use them really quickly. But when they're not done properly, they can really stand out and make make it really look bad. But the rest of the art is fantastic. It really is quite good. The story and all that is great, and it's fun. The plot holes and the timey-wimey stuff doesn't really matter to me. I went into this crossover, thinking it is going to be just fun, and that I wasn't really going to get all hung up on any kind of plot holes or anything like that. I was just looking for a fun crossover, and this one definitely checked off a lot of those things. The one thing that kind of had me, kind of puzzled, and I was thinking it's got to mean something, was the license plate on the truck at the end, because it's almost center of the panel. It's right in your face. So I'm thinking, what does this mean? 2EZP. So I just Googled it, and it's actually is the license plate of Marty's truck from the first movie. So it's it does have meaning, but it doesn't actually have an alphanumeric meaning. I thought that was really cool. The end with a question mark, you always want to hope that means that there's a sequel. If there is, I do hope that the scheduling is better. Or just make it a single big fat book. Sure. Yeah. But I liked it. I liked this a lot. It was fun.
Yeah. And one thing that I know would never happen, but I would love to see a crossover with both the Gigawatt and Ectotron. Just have this one massive crazy story. I think it'd be a lot of fun. But anyway, that is our comic review for this week.
All right, and we will move on to Transformers Media News.
Oh boy, this is a lot of stuff this week. You may have seen it. It got passed around quite a bit, but the product Flex Seal has decided that they're going to use a mascot for their product, and they're calling him Fleximus Prime. And this was for the Prime Day, Amazon Prime Day, that happened this past week or a couple weeks ago. I'm not sure when it was, because it didn't happen here in Canada, because we suck. It did happen elsewhere, and we got 2 commercials on their Twitter feed that show Fleximus Prime talking about how awesome Flex Seal is, and that there's some deals on Amazon for Flex Seal. So, if you want to check those out, take a look. I know that it did catch a lot of people off guard, but they did. Some people really did enjoy it.
I just want to say before we move on, I was really struck. It seems like someone like high up in Flex Seal's marketing department is a big Transformers fan, because if you look at these commercials, they lift lines directly from the movie. Like he says at one point, one day a Flex Seal will rise from our ranks and use the power of Flex Seal to light our darkest hour. I mean, someone was like, I want this to be fully true. I mean, it's Amazon Prime. I love Transformers. We're going to make this character Fleximus Prime.
They're committing to the bit.
They were all in with this Transformers references. And then their Twitter account retweeted the news about the Transformers movie. The latest Transformers movie announcement that we're about to talk about in a little bit. They retweeted that and they're like, this is awesome. We love this. So someone at Flex Seal loves Transformers.
Cool. Well, I mean, fans are everywhere, Charles. We hide in plain sight.
There's more than meets the eye.
Yeah. There is a little business news that, it's not that big, but it's interesting, I guess. Gabriel Marano is going to oversee the Hasbro IP over at E1. If you recall, we've talked about it before, but E1 Studios, E1 Entertainment, I think it is actually, is now a property of Hasbro, and it looks like they're getting someone new to run them. So that's I think Hasbro's gearing up to do something with E1, and wants to start pushing their IP around a little bit. So that's kind of cool.
Marino comes from Fox. He worked with scripted shows like 911, The Gifted, Lucifer, Deputy.
Okay.
Scripted shows and stuff. I would like to see what E1 does with that.
Yeah. Okay, in video game news, that new game that we were talking about, I think it was last week, Transformers Heavy Metal, the mobile game, the new one, is available for download if you're in New Zealand and Australia. This is generally what a video game like this will do is they'll do like a soft release where they'll hit a smaller market and see how it works. And it's kind of like a beta test, but it's a much larger market. So if you're in New Zealand and Australia and you have a mobile phone that you want to burn some data on, download Transformers Heavy Metal and give it a shot. If you check the show notes, you'll see that we do have a video of some gameplay. Check that out. In video and streaming news, we have the first look at Transformers War for Cybertron Kingdom and the animation of that show. There is a clip on YouTube where you can take a look and see. It's kind of like a trailer. You can see some of the animation in the show. It looks pretty good for Beast Wars shows. There's not a lot of stuff to compare it to other than the stuff from the 90s. So if you're a fan of Beast Wars and you're really looking forward to Kingdom, I mean, it's coming. It's like a month away, so you won't have to wait much longer. But if you want a little taste, you can take a look at the video on YouTube in the show notes here and take a look at that. Movie news, though, we have a bunch. There's a lot. So the 7th movie in the Transformers franchise is really starting to ramp up. We talked about it a little bit last week, but they officially announced that the Transformers Rise of the Beasts is the name, and we've got a logo for it. Then the Japanese logo came out. They're not using the name Rise of the Beasts. They're going with Transformers Beast Awakening.
Much better.
Well, I mean, it's something. I think that's the rumored name that we had for it for a while, too, actually. So maybe the news just came out of Japan.
It was Beast Alliance was the
Beast Alliance, name. That's right. And we do have another article here from producer extraordinaire, Lorenzo de Bonaventura, who I was under the impression was not a part of these movies at all anymore, apparently is, and he is speaking to the Chinese audience for this new movie, Transformers Rise of the Beasts, which the Chinese title will be Transformers Super Warriors Rise. It looks like both Japanese and Chinese markets will have a completely different name for this movie. That's fine. Whatever. If that's what they want, that's what they get. But I think the more interesting news out of this is how Lorenzo de Bonaventura is still a part of this damn franchise. I recall that we discussed this in a news story a while ago, that he was out. The franchise was done with him, and he was out.
We speculated that because in a article, I think it was in Variety or somewhere, or some Hollywood article, that it didn't mention his name as one of the producers on the movie. So we thought, does that mean that he's no longer working on it? That was our speculation, but clearly we were wrong.
I guess so.
Sorry.
I think that he, much like with the Marvel movie rights, different studios have rights. I think he, like years ago, had got the rights to do these movies. And as long as he continues to make a movie within, or is on producing a movie within whatever time frame, he gets to keep the license.
Mm-hmm.
That's my, completely non-expert view of how things work.
I mean, he obviously likes the spotlight. He likes his name in the headlines. So, well, I'm sure we're going to hear a lot more from him. Continuing on, Moving Picture Company is handling the video FX for the movie, this Rise of the Beast. They previously worked on Lion King, the live action Lion King, Disney's Cruella, Godzilla vs. Kong, Kong of the Wild, and the Paramount Sonic the Hedgehog. So, I mean, they've got some really good movies under their belt. So I expect that the video FX for this movie are going to be quite good. So that's positive, right? So we got one positive and one negative. We got a Lorenzo de Bonaventura, who's a con, and a really good VFX company. That's a pro. So
And if you are into graphic artists, if you are an artist in this field, Moving Picture Company is hiring apparently. So,
oh, cool, right on.
Go to their LinkedIn page and you can apply.
And the last thing we've got, and I'm sure a lot of people saw this one floating around. I definitely did on Twitter and Facebook and Instagram. Everywhere was sharing the picture. So we're not really going to speculate on it too much because we really don't know what the heck's going on. But a lot of vehicles are starting to be seen on the set in Montreal. So and a flatbed truck was seen carrying another truck on its way to Montreal with that was all covered up, and everyone's kind of speculating, what kind of is Optimus Prime? What does he look like? I don't, we're not going to really speculate. It's too early. We don't really know. Yeah. So that's, we'll see. It's going to show up sooner or later. They're going to shoot some footage outside and somebody will take a picture, and then we'll have to, we'll be able to talk about it then. Until then, we really don't have a whole lot of news about it. But yeah, I think that's it. That's probably going to do it for media news this week.
All right, and we will finish up the show with convention news.
All right, so in convention news, Iacon Online is releasing YouTube versions of the panels from January. So if you didn't get a chance to participate in Iacon Online, this is your time to watch the panels. And if you did get to watch the panels, you can re-watch the panels. I know there's been a big demand for these, so thank you for your patience. And we've been releasing the YouTube videos since last week, so there were a few dropped over the weekend as well. So please subscribe to Iacon Online's YouTube channel to check out all the panels. One of the panels that did drop was my interview with David Sobolov. I really enjoyed having the opportunity to talk with him and discuss the voice acting process. I learned a lot of stuff that I didn't know was involved in voice acting, and even if you're not into voice acting, I highly recommend you check out this panel. Also, you'll want to subscribe to the Iacon Online social media accounts, primarily on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, obviously, and Facebook and Tumblr. So check out Iacon Online and follow for future updates.
All right, and that takes us to the end of this episode of Transmissions Alt Mode. Again, we want to give a shout out to our Masterpiece Donatrons. We really appreciate them for contributing to the Patreon at our highest level. So we give them a shout out in every episode. So thank you to John Forex Levengood and Dinobot Maximize. You guys are awesome. So thanks for continuing to support us. And also, if you are interested in some Transmissions merchandise, you can go to our TeePublic store. That's at transmissionspodcast.com/shop. And we've got lots of cool shirt designs, masks, and other items with Transmissions logos on them. So you can buy all that good stuff. That anything you buy from our store gives us a little commission, so that helps us out. Of course, you don't have to buy Transmission stuff. You can buy anything from TeePublic through our link, and that will help out the show. So don't go to teepublic.com. Go to transmissionspodcast.com/shop. Takes you to the same place, but that really helps us out. All right, Apollo, thanks again for joining us this week. And why don't you tell everyone where they can find you and your stuff online and anything else you'd like to plug?
Yeah, thanks for having me on again, as always. It's been fun, our monthly chats. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at RoboApollo. I am a fan artist, and I have commissions open, so if you want to check out my artwork, you can go there. I also just talk Transformers on there, so if you want to do that as well, give me a follow on those platforms.
All right, and that'll do it for this episode of Transmissions Alt Mode. Thanks, everyone, for listening, and we will see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Later.
Hey everyone, thanks for listening to this episode of Transmissions. But just because this episode is over doesn't mean the Transformers fun has to stop. Join us and other Transformers fans on our Discord chat server by visiting transmissionspodcast.com/Discord. If you would like to learn more about how you could support the Transmissions Podcast, just visit transmissionspodcast.com/support. Thank you all for listening, and we'll see you again next week.
Did you get your drink, Daryl?
Yep.
I'm actually in a Discord server where we're rewatching Beast Wars, and gosh, the voice acting is still perfect.
You need to get Daryl in there.
Do you want to join?
No.
You should watch it.
I can't watch it.
Is it
You
this
are
the
a failure
animation
as a
too
Canadian.
bad?
It's the animation. It's horrible. It's so horrible.
For the voice acting. Like,
You're
you have to-
exaggerating, Daryl.
I'm a visual guy, and I get that the voice acting's good and all, but the visuals are just I can't watch them. I have a hard time with 2D animation sometimes now. I'm spoiled for choice when it comes to stuff to watch now.
Or maybe Daryl's just an animation snob.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to
That's
watch
more
it with a
likely.
historical context. It was the 90s.
It's an achievement as like one of the very early episodic TV shows that used all computer animation. I mean, it was and this is Mainframe Entertainment, the Canadian company that pioneered this with Reboot and with Beast Wars.
Yeah, I get that.
That
Doesn't matter.
Have some pride.
I have a lot of pride. Do you go back and watch those first talkies? Those are achievements. Those are the first movies with with sound and voices and stuff. Who do you watch those? I don't watch those.
All right, Daryl. Welcome to Transmissions Alt Mode, the podcast that's going back to conventions. Oh, you didn't do it, Jeremy.
You didn't tell me we were doing this.
Do it again.
Oh, I did. I thought you'd put the intro in here. Sorry, I thought you did.
I did not do the intro on this one.
I did it.
Oh, okay.
Take two.
Next time I need some stage directions in the script.